Have you ever wondered why your barbecue isn't quite hitting the mark, even when you follow all the steps? Don't worry, you're not alone. Today, I'm uncovering 5 common barbecue mistakes that might be holding you back. Fix these, and you'll go from just okay to absolutely unforgettable every time you fire up the grill. Let's dive in and get those flavors right where they should be. So what's the first mistake that's ruining your barbecue? It all starts with the basics, fuel and preheating. Let's dive into why this step could be the game changer you've been missing. So choosing the right fuel seems simple, but can make or break your barbecue. Charcoal is a solid foundation, but what about the type of wood you throw in? Different woods bring out different flavors, and it's all about matching the wood to what you're cooking. For pork, sweeter woods like apple or cherry work wonders. They give it this subtle, fruity flavor that balances perfectly with the richness of the meat. For beef though, you want to go bolder. Hickory or oak adds that deep, smoky punch that pairs so well with a hearty cut of brisket or steak. And chicken, stick with something lighter like pecan or alder to give it a nice smoky kick without overwhelming the delicate flavor of the meat. Now here's where things get tricky. Preheating. If you're skipping this step or rushing it, you're setting yourself up for a bad time. A properly heated grill isn't just about hitting a certain temperature, it's about ensuring an even cooking surface. Skip it, and you might end up with food sticking to the grates or cooking unevenly. Trust me, there's nothing worse than peeling your beautiful pork chop off the grill with half of it stuck behind. Oh, and here's another tip. Don't add your food or wood chips at the same time. Why? Because when you toss smoking wood onto the charcoal, it gives off this heavy white smoke at first. That's combustion smoke. And it's not what you want your food to soak up. It will give your food a bitter taste. Wait for the smoke to settle into a nice clean gray. That's the good stuff, the kind of smoke that makes people ask for barbecue secrets. Get your fuel and your preheating right, and you're already halfway to barbecue greatness. Now that you get your fuel right, let's talk about marinade. Are you getting the most out of your marinade? Or is it time to rethink your approach? Let's find out. The key to a great marinade is balance. The marinade should enhance your meat, not drown it out. For chicken, try something fresh and citrusy. Pork loves sweet and tangy, like apple cider vinegar or a touch of brown sugar. And beef, go bold with soy sauce, garlic, or Worcestershire sauce. But timing is everything. Too much soak time turns your meat into mush. Chicken should be about 1 to 2 hours. Pork or steak, aim for 2 to 6 hours. And watch those acidic ingredients like vinegar or lemon juice. They're great for tenderizing, but overdo it and you get rubbery meat. Balance acids with olive oil or a little bit of honey for a smoother flavor. Pro tip, pat your meat dry before grilling for a great sear and save a little bit of that marinade to brush on as a glaze at the end. If you're new to backyard barbecue and want a little extra help with cooking times and temperatures, I've got a free guide that'll make things super easy for you. It covers everything from meats to veggies and is perfect for getting started. Just drop a 100 in the comments and I'll send it your way. Okay, you've got your marinade down, but what about your grill technique? Are you flipping too much? Not using heat zones? And how accurate is your temperature? Let's make sure you're grilling the right way. Are you flipping your meat too often? If so, you're probably missing out on that perfect crust and those beautiful grill marks. Here's the thing, flip less, but make it count. Let the meat sear and develop that golden brown crust before you turn it. Constant flipping doesn't give your meat a chance to cook properly and can result in uneven searing. Now heat zones, this is key. For thicker cuts like steaks or chops, you really need 2 heat zones. One side should be hot, direct heat to get a nice sear, and the other should be cooler, indirect heat to cook that meat through without burning it. This setup's lets you control the cooking process and prevents over-charring. And here's a big one. If you're not using a meat thermometer yet, now is the time to start. Trust me, it takes the guesswork out of grilling. If you want that steak cooked to perfection, a thermometer is your best friend. It ensures that you pull the meat off the grill at the right moment, so you don't end up with something overcooked or underdone. Master these 3 things: flipping less, setting up proper heat zones, and using a thermometer, and you'll be grilling like a pro every time. Grilling can be smooth sailing until a flare-up ruins everything. But what if I told you flare-ups are preventable? And overcrowding? That's another hidden barbecue killer. Let's fix these once and for all. Now, most flare-ups happen when fat or grease drips onto the hot coals or flames, causing those sudden bursts of fire. The good news? You can easily prevent them by keeping your grill clean. If there's grease buildup on your grates or in the bottom of the grill, that's exactly what fuels those flare-ups. So take a few minutes before cooking to scrape down your grates and clear out any grease traps. Now, let's talk about overcrowding the grill. It's tempting to throw everything on it at once to save time, but it's a mistake. When you overcrowd the grill, your meat doesn't get the space it needs to cook evenly. It also restricts airflow, which means less smoke flavor and a less consistent cook. You need room for heat to circulate around each piece of meat. Giving food some space helps it cook evenly and prevents flare-ups and ensures every bite is full of that smoky goodness you're after. So, clean grill plus space for your meat equals better taste to your barbecue. It's a simple rule, but it makes all the difference. All right, you've got the meat cooked just the way you like it, those grill marks are on point, and everything looks perfect. But before you dig in, here's the one thing that a lot of people forget: resting your meat. I know it's tempting to jump right in, but resting is very important. When you give your meat a few minutes to rest after cooking, all those delicious juices have a chance to settle back into the meat. This means that you'll get those juicy tender bites every time. Skipping this step is like putting all the effort into cooking and not enjoying the full rewards. Aim for about 5 to 10 minutes of rest time, depending on the size of the cut. Now, about that smoky crust, we all love that crispy charred exterior, but there's a fine line between a perfect seared crust and something that's totally burnt. Getting it right is all about timing and heat control. If the heat is too high, the outside will burn before the inside gets cooked. If it's too low, you won't get that mouthwatering crispy texture. The trick is using a hot surface to sear the meat quickly, but keeping an eye on the heat so it doesn't go overboard. When you get it just right, the flavor from the char is unreal, smoky, savory, and absolutely delicious. So don't rush the rest, and pay attention to that balance of heat and timing for that perfect crust. Those small details are what take your barbecue from good to great. Want the ultimate guide to barbecue woods and fuel choices? Then grab it for free in the link below. And there you have it, 5 barbecue mistakes to avoid for your grilling session. So which one are you guilty of? Drop it in the comments, and I promise no judgment here. If you got your own secret barbecue tips, share them. I'm always looking to learn something new. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to up your barbecue game. And check out this video right here where I grew up an insanely delicious tomahawk steak. I'll see you there.